Okay, so now I think it should be safe to say that there are people who like the recent Kirby games, and if you're one of those people, then great, continue playing your game. My problem is at the moment is the fact that Kirby has, at least from my experience of seeing Kirby throughout the years, Kirby has distanced itself so much from its past titles, and not just from an artistic standpoint, but from everywhere else, to the point where it's not fun anymore. Um, listen. If you like Kirby, Super Kirby Clash, Star Allies, or Kirby Fighters 2, then go ahead and continue to play these games. But there is an issue with these three games that makes me, right, an actual Kirby fan, very, I don't know, uncomfortable with it. And it's not just the 3D, right? The whole feeling, personally, I'm going to share my experience. I feel like the entirety of um, the new Kirby games just feels very slow. It feels very laggy, especially for a Kirby game. You would notice the Kirby game to be a lot more mellow. But my issue with the new Kirby games right now, at the very least, is that old Kirby games were really fast paced, and yet at the same time they were also easy. They were pretty easy and pretty dang fun too. Um, it's so weird to see that they're continuing to go through this route with Kirby games to bring Kirby like in his gimmicky side with his copy abilities and all that stuff. Kirby Team Super Kirby Clash is a nice concept, and I would have loved to. I mean, I would have loved to keep playing it, but the game is just way too complicated, man. And it doesn't. It hurts even more that it's free, because that means you have to use microtransactions, and that doesn't make the game any more fun. Nobody's even talking about that game. Nobody's even talking about it, and I bet almost everybody who was a Kirby fan downloaded it at least once and played it at least once. I know I was, but there's so much complicated stuff in this game that you could use in other games, right? But it's just not necessary in a Kirby setting. Leveling up systems don't make any sense to me. It's more fun than leveling up stuff is to customize, just costumes and colors. That was, a mainly a Kirby thing, because, for example, Magic Mirror, Amazing Mirror, you could just change the color of your Kirby, and that didn't really matter, but it was just for preference. And I think costumes would have been a fun thing here too. Except they didn't do it that way. They did it more of a leveling up system, because I think that Kirby fans would have liked it. And it just feels wrong. It just feels really wrong. And then after Super Kirby Clash, Kirby Fighters 2 comes out. And people are like, oh my gosh, it's another Kirby game. And I just personally sit there looking at the announcement of this Kirby game, and I think to myself, it's another Kirby game like this. Like, it's not Kirby. It's not the Kirby that I'm looking for, personally. And it's truly not the Kirby game that I want Nintendo to go the route of. Because this Kirby, like, this direction into the Kirby series is literally stripping the life of me. Like, it's taking away the Nintendo magic from my soul, because it's taking away what made Kirby so special to me. And it was not his copy abilities. It wasn't his weapons. It wasn't even the teamwork. That was never, like, the main thing about Kirby. The main thing about Kirby was going through an entire series of lands in order to get to the final boss, while in the midst of all that, you were this friggin' monster sucking monster in and of itself, absorbing people, taking their abilities, and causing, you know, sheer havoc against your enemies in a totally fun way. It was honestly satisfying to play games like this. And, to not see that anymore, or to see the energy that those games had just washed away with these new Kirby games, it feels very dead to me. Kirby Star Allies is the second highest um, game in the series, and while that may be true, um, it doesn't make it really good. People would ask me, well, then why is it the second highest selling game then? What about the Wii? Why didn't the Wii entries sell more than the Switch entry? Well, for one thing, the Switch is starting to become a very well high selling console. For starters, it got released in 2017. The Wii got released in 2006. So we're now starting to we're on our way to exceeding the numbers of the Wii soon. So there's a lot more people who are playing, a lot more people that are beyond our generation. So that does not matter. Numbers don't matter in this case. It's quality. And many Kirby fans would obviously rank the most recent Kirby game to be one of the worst, or one of the least fun at least, because just of the whole experience. And I can argue that it's not even just because of difficulty, but because of longevity, or honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, the lag of Kirby Star Allies is another thing that killed me, because the Kirby series during the 3DS era already made things slow as it already was, right? It made things feel pretty slow, given that it was a 3D game. But listen, you can make 3D games and still make them really fast-paced. I mean, look at Dragon Ball FighterZ. Like, that's a really fast-paced game that's in 3D. You can probably do that with the Kirby series. And it sucks to me that they're taking this route with Kirby that just takes the character out of him. And it's not fun to look at as a Kirby fan. On a subtopic, I find it really hard to want to play as Kirby now in Smash Brothers. And I don't know why. Like, I used to love playing as him in Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS, Smash 4. And I loved playing as him in Brawl. Probably played as him more in 4, though. I don't know why it's not that way here. It's not that fun. It's not that fun to play as him now. I don't know. But anyways, that just sums it up as a summary. We had better games back then. Remember when we were at a stage of Nintendo where we were given games like Kirby's Superstar Ultra, arguably one of the best Kirby games of all time, ever. We just don't get stuff like that anymore. We're introduced to all of this gimmicky stuff, and it's, yeah, you're re-representing your series, at least we're getting that, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm not going to buy a Kirby game if it doesn't bring me back to what made Kirby so good. And this is not what I want Kirby to be either. I'm just going to say that out loud too. So, seriously, man, I'm going to have to just keep playing the old games because there's so much that I haven't finished yet. And those games feel a lot more exciting than the new ones. Honestly, if you want to experience Kirby the right way, start with Kirby Superstar Ultra. Treat yourself right. Get Kirby Superstar on Nintendo Switch Online, or get the Ultra version for DS. That is a good way to start your Kirby experience. But other than that, it's not even worth your time. Kirby Star Allies is personally energy sucking. Super Kirby Clash is a good concept that completely blew it. And Kirby Fighters 2 is nothing more than a hollow shell of what Kirby used to be. That's just my take. And if you disagree with me, then you gotta say why. Because otherwise, I'm gonna keep talking about this. But then again, that's just my opinion. Subscribe if you want to. I'm just saying, just to chill a little bit. If you like what I was talking about, hit the like button. And I swear to God, I was going to make Smash content this week, but it turns out we're going to put this as stalled because I really wanted to talk about this. And possibly more series on top of that. So bear with me. It's going to come soon, but just let it run its course naturally. That way we can have a natural conversation, except artificial dialogue, right? That seems planned every single time, and nobody wants that. So yeah, I want you guys to stay safe amid this pandemic, and I hope you guys can stay happy throughout the month too. Honestly, dude, we are a bunch of lonely people. Anyways, Talk to you guys later. Peace out.